so I would tell the story correctly.
I think both.
Oh, Charles, you there?
I am here, and I wasn't listening. I'm sure you were saying nice things about me, but I didn't hear it.
Whatever. Eric is total broadcast. The thing about you as a critic I always like is that you're honest. You would never go, why, I happen to be listening to your program, and blah, blah, blah.
Well, I was in Starbucks, and unfortunately they just play some awful music, and they don't play you guys.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, so I'm telling the story about how you bootlegged 6 million copies of the Nirvana cassette before it came out and handed them out to everybody. Is that accurate?
6 million is a little bit short. So if the RIAA
Yeah.
file suit against me, make sure they get the right number.
Yeah.
But it is funny, the word you're even using, bootleg, the idea of music these days is so dramatically different. If you go to a concert, everybody is filming and taping it. And in that era, yes, I got an advance copy of Nevermind, and I did copy it for a few of my select friends. And the copy I had the first little bit of Smells Like Teen Spirit cut off.
I mentioned
so
that.
I still find copies around that people have, and they are from my original, kind of grafting of the apple tree. So
And that's what I was going to mention. Did you, like, someday later go to, like, a yard sale or something and see a cassette and you popped it in and it had the part cut off and you knew it came from you?
Essentially, that was the story. Yeah, it spread. It spread like a virus, like the herpes virus in Belltown on a Saturday night.
So that's what makes Courtney part of the band, right there.
Well,
that spreading of a virus.
And by the way, the other punchline I was coming to was that you didn't feel guilty because you knew, A, with the part of the song cut off, also just B, with how cool the record was, that everyone who got it just wanted to hear it, and they would all end up going out and buying it, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people forget in 1991, cassettes made up the majority of music sales. Isn't that a crazy?
That is crazy.
Now we look back and we go, what is it now? So it was a different world altogether. I wish I would have taped the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because, boy, I tell you, there was some great stuff. Obviously, it's going to be on HBO, but a lot of it's going to get cut out. But it was something. It was a great performance, and you saw a lot of drama on stage.
All right. I was mentioning that all I saw, of course, was what the media highlights that they show. But to me, the biggest highlight, and I wonder if the moment was as big as the photograph makes it, was Dave Grohl embracing Courtney Love.
Well, you as a biographer who wants to get everything accurate, you have to reverse that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This looked more like a
she
Courtney,
jumped on him.
Yeah, Courtney neck
Exactly.
grab. Yeah.
So Courtney grabbing him, and then Dave and Chris both. They really had no choice at that point. Were they going to rebuff her? Dave gave what seemed like a sincere hug back. Chris's embrace, while he did put his arms back around her, the look on his face, that's the picture that really needed to be captured from it. But the whole thing was crazy. Not only did you have them, you had Kurt's mother, who at times hasn't gotten along with Courtney or any of those people, and two of Kurt's sisters on stage. So it was high family drama. This was like, the Real Housewives of, Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And the interaction between them was just nuts.
But I have this feeling, like when Heart got back together last year and did their very nice thing, I have the feeling that that everybody was well behaved, and that I mean, it's funny because you're right. When I saw that picture, I thought, "Wow, Dave Grohl, how nice of him to embrace her." It didn't occur to me she jumped him, but I still thought that that there's a kind of a camaraderie, there's a kind of a niceness that I like about Seattle that's displayed at these events, in stark contrast to Kiss, who doesn't even play for their fans.
Yeah, and you should have heard what Kiss said backstage. The sarcasm that Gene Simmons had towards the other two guys was just not appropriate. This is the Hall of Fame. Everybody needs to acknowledge that all these people contributed to the music. And you did see that with Nirvana. In some ways, that embrace was sincere. It was a kind of coming together of everyone. But I will tell you, I was thinking about this last night, and I started typing something I was going to put on Facebook. I just think the Hall of Fame is so screwed up. It should acknowledge every single player in these bands. Everybody that was ever in the band ought to at least have their name on the plaque or be there. And Dave Grohl, in his acceptance speech, he went on and on and on about how there had been 5 other drummers in Nirvana before him. and he cited Chad Channing, who was sitting in the audience, and he pointed him out, and he said, "I played your parts, dude." And
that
why on
was
earth
nice.
would the Hall of Fame not include all these members? And of course, we saw it with Hart as well. Everybody should be included, and why not? What is lost in that? So with Nirvana, yes, it was great seeing all those people come together, but it still is a stick in my craw that these other guys were not acknowledged.
And they wouldn't lose anything by acknowledging these people. It's not like sports where if you have extra playoff games, you're going to wear down the players. I mean, just acknowledging the people doesn't cost anything.
If you're on the Seahawks and you sat on the sideline and you helped in practice, you got a Super Bowl ring.
You got a ring. Damn right.
And it's because there's an acknowledgement that you're part of the thing. And if you played on Love Buzz and 1/3 of Nirvana's recorded albums, your name ought to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to swear here on the radio.
That's all right. We'll bleep you out on that.
It's just insane. It's just insane, and it makes the whole Hall of Fame honor not quite as honorable. And Nirvana kind of did the ultimate FU to the Hall of Fame, as you may know. They played 4 gigs at the thing, and then they went, 4 blocks away and in a Brooklyn little bar in front of 280 people that didn't include me because I was in the press room still writing my story. They played 16 songs.
Yeah.
And I think to some degree what they were doing is saying, the Hall of Fame really doesn't mean anything to punk rock. We'll show you what punk rock is. We go to a club, we take it over. And, Kim Gordon said some very negative things on stage there about Bruce Springsteen's speech and how long that went on. So you saw a very different take from Nirvana. But at the thing, they were all make nice.
Who was this year's Flavor Flav? Was it
was Bruce?
Was it Bruce?
It wasn't Bruce. Bruce had a very honorable speech, but the E Street Band's talk, their speech, went on for 52 minutes between Bruce and all the other guys. And, part of that, again, is that the Hall of Fame screwed up 13 years ago. They inducted only Bruce Springsteen.
Wow.
So Bruce came on stage and basically admitted, and the most honest and emotional thing I've ever seen him say, he basically said, I screwed up. I should not have accepted that honor without you guys. So he felt like he had to kind of make up for it. And then when all the E Street guys got up, they feeling slighted, felt like now they were going to take their chance. So that went on for 52 minutes, which, it's a long time. But there was nobody crazy, on stage that got near the mic. Even when Courtney got, she said she only said 3 sentences, but her first sentence was, I have a long speech I was going to give, but I'm not going to do that. And then everybody in the crowd kind of clapped.
And craps, yeah.
And then she said specifically, we all start bands as kids, and this is my family. And she's right. That it is her family. Even if it's a dysfunctional family, it's a family that they all kind of went through this certain time in their lives together.
All the headlines I saw, Charles, revolved around Nirvana and Kiss. I didn't see anything about Cat Stevens, and I know he did perform and speak. What did he do?
He performed at a mosque afterwards for 2 hours. Didn't you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that. I wish I would have seen that. I will say that
you weren't that either.
Busy writing your story.
I was the backstage area was insane, so I did not hear his speech because I think the guys in Kiss, who could not get enough attention, they were like, we're not going to talk, we're not going to appear, and then they're walking all there trying to get attention because they're attention whores. But I did see his performance, and I thought it was excellent. He played more sincerely than anybody else on stage that night. So, but I didn't hear what he said, and the night went on. I think I got to the Hall of Fame ceremony at 5, and I got out of there at 1:30.
Yeah,
so
long ceremony.
This was not a short performance.
They edited Charles, it down to 2 hours. Yes,
I know the crowd was probably just Kiss crazy, paint faces everywhere, and them not performing. What was the crowd? Did the crowd have a bad night?
Well, there weren't that many people that were Kiss fans, and I was a little surprised. This is a crazy thing. This again shows the screwed ups of the Hall of Fame. The show was not sold out. Now, yes, they moved it to the biggest venue ever. It was 18,000 people at Barclays Center, but it was not sold out. There were some empty seats in the upper rafters. And by not allowing Kiss to kind of decide who gets to play or whatever, by insisting that it's only the original lineup and nobody else can play, if they would have had, Gene and Paul did something and then who cares if it's a bar band playing with Ace and Peter, then fans would have been excited. But as it was, there was, Tom Morello gave an incredible speech. That was the most intelligent speech. The only guy that ever went to Harvard who actually likes Kiss. The performance itself, there weren't a lot of moments of great excitement except Nirvana. And I tell you, when Nirvana goes on with Lord, who thought that was coming? I had no idea until about an hour before.
All right. Hey, Charles, thank you for being ambushed and talking to us about the Hall of Fame. I so thought about doing that with you, and I figured it was probably too late, and we'd talk again maybe before the actual broadcast. I do want to ask you about Kiss the Sky. This weekend, Joan Jett just got on stage with Nirvana, and she's going to be, and not a lot of people know about this, at the EMP Museum Sky Church with Heart and Graham Nash and a whole slew of musical history-making folks. Kiss the Sky Orca Freedom Concert. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a thing that all these people are doing as a benefit for environmental cause, and Joan Jett's an incredible performer. So who knows? Now maybe we'll get the reprise. We'll get Novoselic, and who knows who else will be on stage.
Why don't they come and add some of those Nirvana songs? That's a thought. But I heard they were
did great. She did fantastic.
Okay.
It was not what you expected, and it was a great way to avoid a direct comparison with Kurt Cobain singing a song.
You bet. All right, that's
the
next.
The real pick was St. Vincent, though. She was the best thing of the show. She tours with David Byrne, but she was the best thing of that night. So hopefully they'll stay in the broadcast.
All right. The broadcast usually hits HBO a month or so after. I don't have the exact date in front of me. We'll let you know.
Memorial Day.
Is it? Okay.
May 31st.
All right. And Kiss the Sky is next Tuesday, April 22nd, by the way. There are still tickets available for that because not a lot of people know about the amazing lineup. But and they're supporting orcas in the wild because so much attention is on orcas in captivity, but the orcas in the wild, like the ones that are right here, are pretty threatened. All right. Charles, thank you very much. I'll let you sip your coffee, which is now cold.
Nice talking to you guys.
All right, bye.
You want to hear some of the clips?
Here.
We got, this is, again, it was cell phone quality. This is Nirvana performing with Lord. All apologies.